Marcus Hale stood alone on the rocky edge of Outpost E-77, staring at the dark sky above the colony. The stars looked calm, quiet, and uninterested in the problems of humans living far from Earth. But inside the outpost, alarms beeped again, soft, annoying reminders that something was very wrong with their power systems. Lights flickered, machines slowed, temperature controls dropped 2 degrees too low. Every day the situation became worse. Marcus rubbed his tired eyes. He had spent almost 40 hours awake, trying to understand why their generators kept failing. He had opened every panel, checked every cable, tested every possible fault. Nothing made sense. It was like the electricity itself was being pulled away by an invisible hand. Finally, after another blackout hit the colony for 7 full minutes, Marcus gave up trying to fix everything alone. He sent an emergency request to the Galactic Cooperative, a giant alliance of many alien species that humans had joined only a few years ago. The message was simple: we need technical aid. Urgent. 7. Way. We. He expected a reply in 2 days. The cooperative was large, slow, and often wrapped in long procedures. But a strange answer arrived in just 8 hours. It said help was being dispatched immediately, and assistance would arrive soon. Marcus felt a bit of hope. Maybe they were taking this seriously. Maybe humans were not as alone as he feared. The next morning, while Marcus checked the generator room again, the ground outside shook. A tremor ran through the floor, knocking a few tools off his workbench. He frowned and stepped outside. The sky flashed with white light as a small transport pod fell through the atmosphere, trailing smoke behind it. It was coming down fast, too fast. Marcus ran, sliding down a slope of red dust until he reached the crash site. The pod had dug a long scar into the dirt before stopping at an angle. The metal hissed with heat. His heart raced. Was this the help they promised? If so, it didn't look promising. The pod door suddenly popped open with a hiss. Marcus backed away, unsure what kind of alien might climb out. Cooperative species came in all shapes, some with shells, some like tall plants, and some looking like walking crystals. What stepped out was none of those. A small figure stumbled out of the pod. She was barely 5 feet tall, thin, and wearing a simple gray jumpsuit too big for her. Her skin was pale blue, smooth like polished stone, and her eyes were large and silver, reflecting the morning light. She looked like a child, maybe 12 or 13 in human years. She raised both hands as if greeting him. Her voice was soft but clear. "I come to help." "Are you Marcus Hale?" Marcus blinked twice. He felt his frustration return. "Wait. You? They sent you?" The girl nodded calmly. "Yes," crowed. Marcus stared at her, completely lost. "You're a kid." She tilted her head. "I am apprentice problem solver Lyra of the cooperative. I am qualified for emergency diagnostics." "This is a mistake," Marcus muttered, running a hand through his messy hair. "I asked for aid. Real aid. Our colony is dying out here. And they send—" "I am able," she said, her eyes narrowing slightly. Marcus wanted to argue. He wanted to send her back, call the cooperative, and ask what kind of joke they were playing. But looking at the cracked pod behind her, he understood she wasn't going anywhere. And power was disappearing fast. They needed help. Any help. He sighed. "Fine. But don't touch anything, unless I say so." Lyra nodded with a calm smile, like she already expected him to react that way. They walked back toward the outpost. Marcus kept glancing at her, still unsure how someone so small and young could help with a complex problem that he himself couldn't solve. Lyra seemed to study everything: the dust blowing across the ground, the tall metal towers, the humming antennas, the flickering lights in the colony windows. Inside the generator room, Marcus showed her the main energy core. This is where the failures start, he explained. We lose output without warning. Every reading looks normal until the power just disappears, like it gets sucked away. Lyra stepped closer. Her silver eyes glowed faintly as she placed her palm on the side of the machine. Marcus rushed forward. Hey, don't touch. But Lyra spoke before he could finish. The flow is wrong, she whispered. Something is pulling the energy from the inside channels before it reaches your grid. Marcus frowned. That's impossible. I checked. It is not mechanical, she said softly. Marcus blinked. Patterned? What does that mean? She turned to him. Humans see electricity as numbers and lines. My species sees it like music, and this music has been changed. Marcus stared at her, unsure whether she was brilliant, strange, or simply making things up. Show me, he said, crossing his arms. Lyra placed both hands on the generator again. She hummed a low, steady sound that seemed to sync with the vibrations in the machine. The lights flickered in a rhythm Marcus had never seen before. It didn't look random. It looked intentional. She opened her eyes. Your problem is not failure. It is interference. Interference from what? He asked. I do not know yet, she admitted. But someone, or something, is interrupting your power flow. On purpose. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Sabotage? Out here? In a lonely colony far from major trade routes? It didn't make sense. And yet, the more he thought about it, the more her explanation matched everything he had seen. Lyra stepped back from the generator. I can help find the source, she said softly, but I will need access to all your systems. And maybe your trust. Marcus looked at her again, not at her small frame or young face, but at her steady eyes and confident posture. Maybe she wasn't what he expected, but maybe she was exactly what they needed. He let out a slow breath. All right, we'll work together. But if you break anything, I'm blaming your entire cooperative. Lyra smiled a small, bright smile that made her look less alien for a moment. I will not break anything. As Marcus led her deeper into the outpost, he still wondered why the cooperative would send someone like her. But another thought, faint and unwelcome, also formed in his mind. What if she wasn't sent? What if she came on her own? And what if something much bigger than power failures was waiting for them in the shadows of the colony? Marcus led Lyra through the long metal corridors of Outpost E-77. The lights flickered every few seconds, giving the hallway a tired and unstable feeling. Some doors stayed half open, frozen after the last blackout. Marcus moved fast, but Lyra walked at a calm, even pace, studying every shadow and wire as if she could see things he couldn't. They reached the control room. Screens covered the walls, most of them showing red warnings or empty black squares. Marcus sat at the main console and ran a quick diagnostic. The results looked the same as always, normal readings followed by sudden drops in power, like pieces of the grid simply vanished for a moment. Lyra stepped close to one of the screens and touched the edge lightly. Your systems are reacting to something they cannot identify, she said softly. Marcus sighed. Yeah, that's what happens when someone steals electricity from thin air. I do not think it is theft, she said. He turned his chair toward her. Then what? Lyra took a slow breath. A distortion. A very organized one. Then. Marcus waited, but she didn't continue. You're going to have to explain that, he said. She looked around the room, as if trying to find the right words. Imagine your power grid is a river. The energy flows from the source to every part of the colony. But I can sense currents moving against the flow currents that should not exist. Marcus frowned. You're saying the power is being pushed away, not pulled? Yes, she said. He rubbed his forehead. And only you can sense this? My species was trained to see patterns in energy since childhood, she said simply. It is normal for me. Number 4. Marcus watched her carefully. She spoke with confidence, but her voice still had softness, almost like she wasn't used to speaking to humans. Yet, she wasn't nervous. She wasn't afraid. She was focused. All right, Marcus said. Then tell me what to do. Lyra's eyes brightened a little, as if she was relieved, he asked. I need to examine the oldest parts of your system, the first generator rooms you built here. Marcus blinked. Those sections are barely used anymore. Some are half broken. Reading. Marcus blinked. They hold the earliest wiring, she said. If someone wanted to hide something, they would choose a place that humans rarely check. Marcus didn't like the sound of that. But she wasn't wrong. Old sectors were often ignored unless a total failure happened. And lately, everything was too unstable for long maintenance missions. He grabbed his toolkit and motioned for her to follow. Fine. We'll check Sector 1A. They walked through another corridor until they reached the older wing of the outpost. The temperature felt colder here. The lights were weaker, humming with low energy. Dust covered the vents, and the walls showed long scratches from when large machinery had been pushed through years ago. Lyra paused at the entrance. There is something strange already, she whispered. Marcus froze. What do you mean? I feel a pull, she said. Like a sound you cannot hear. It is faint, but it is here. Marcus listened, but he heard nothing except the soft buzz of dying lights. Yes, she said. Very. He swallowed hard and opened the door into Sector 1A. The room was filled with old panels, tangled cables, and rusted power converters. Most of the equipment hadn't been used in years. Marcus walked toward an old control node and wiped dust off the surface. Nothing dangerous here, he muttered. Just junk and old wiring. Lyra walked slowly around the room. Her fingertips hovered a few inches above the machines. Her expression changed. Her eyes narrowed, as if she were searching for something only she could sense. Then she stopped. This one, she whispered. Marcus hurried over. She pointed at a thin metal panel that connected two old power lines. It looked like every other panel. Dull. Scratched. Unimportant. What about it? He asked. Lyra touched her palm to it. Her eyes glowed slightly again. This is where the pattern changes. Marcus knelt beside her and opened the panel. Inside, the wiring looked normal. But then he noticed something. A small, crystal-like object wedged between two cables. It was faintly warm. What is this? Marcus whispered. Lyra shook her head. It does not belong to your technology. Marcus reached for it, but Lyra grabbed his wrist gently. Do not touch it directly, she said. It is active. Marcus slowly pulled his hand back. Active? Doing what? Lyra studied the object carefully. It bends energy flow. It delays it. Redirects it. Every time power passes through here, this device sends a part of it away. Where? Marcus asked. I do not know, she admitted. Marcus felt the coldness of fear settle in his chest. Someone had placed this in their outpost long before he arrived. Someone had been redirecting power from the colony for years, without anyone noticing. Lyra looked up at him. This is not a human device, and it is not cooperative technology, either. Then who made it? Marcus whispered. Lyra didn't answer right away. She closed her eyes and placed both hands on the wires. A soft vibration filled the room. The lights flickered. Marcus stepped back, unsure if he should interfere. Her eyes snapped open. The energy signal leads outside your colony, she said. Far from here. Into the cliffs. Marcus blinked. The cliffs? There's nothing there except rocks and sand. Something is hidden there, Lyra said. and it has been connected to your power grid for a very long time. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. For the first time, the problem felt bigger than broken generators and flickering screens. It felt like someone had been watching them, studying them, maybe waiting for the right moment. Lyra stood. We must follow the signal. If we do not, the interference will continue, and it may get worse. Marcus wanted to argue. He wanted to say they needed more people, more equipment, more planning. But the look in Lyra's eyes told him that waiting wasn't safe anymore. All right, he said. We go to the cliffs. As they left the old sector, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that something had awakened something that didn't want to be found. And now, he and Lyra were walking straight toward it. The lights flickered behind them as they walked, as if the outpost itself was holding its breath. Marcus and Lyra walked across the silent desert toward the tall cliffs rising in the distance. The sun hovered low, spreading orange light across the sand. It should have been peaceful, but Marcus felt anything except peace. Every step made him more aware that something dangerous waited ahead, something someone had hidden on purpose. Lyra walked a few steps ahead, her silver eyes scanning the ground. She moved lightly, almost silently, as if she didn't weigh anything at all. Marcus, meanwhile, dragged his heavy boots through the sand, sweating under the heat. How far is this signal? Marcus called out. Not far, Lyra answered softly. It grows stronger every minute. Her calm voice should have comforted him, but instead, it made him more nervous. She looked too calm, too sure, as if she wasn't just sensing a hidden machine, but already expecting something much worse. They reached the base of the cliffs, where shadows made the air cooler. Marcus looked up at the tall rock walls. Nothing about them suggested danger. They were just stone, cracked from years of wind. We need to climb? Marcus asked. No, Lyra said. She placed her palm on the cliff surface. There is an opening here. Arc. Marcus frowned. I don't see anything. She pressed her hand harder. A low vibration ran through the stone, and a moment later, a thin line of blue light appeared. The line grew wider, forming a smooth doorway that hadn't existed 5 seconds earlier. Marcus stepped back. This wasn't made by humans. Lyra nodded. Yes, and it has been hidden well. The doorway led into a dark tunnel. Cold air flowed from inside, carrying a faint metallic smell. Marcus switched on his handheld light and entered cautiously. Lyra followed, without hesitation. The tunnel was narrow and curved slightly downward. Strange symbols covered the walls, sharp lines arranged in patterns Marcus didn't recognize. Lyra touched one of the symbols gently. This writing, she whispered. It is very old. From your people? Marcus asked. No, she said softly. From a group the cooperative lost contact with long ago. Marcus's heart tightened. If even the cooperative didn't know who built this place, then he and Lyra were walking into the unknown. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber. The ceiling was low and curved, made of smooth silver metal. Cables ran across the floor like vines, glowing faint blue. In the center of the room stood a tall structure, shaped like a tower with many thin branches stretching upward. Energy pulsed through it in quiet waves. Lyra stepped closer. This is the source of the pattern. Marcus stared. What exactly is it? What? I think. Lyra paused, choosing her words carefully. This machine studies energy flow. Maybe it observes. Maybe it adjusts. But it does not belong to your colony. Marcus knelt beside one of the glowing cables. Is it taking power? Not taking, she said. Redirecting. Learning. Marcus felt a deep unease settle in his stomach. Learning what? How your systems respond to interference, Lyra answered. It watches your grid break and rebuild. And break again. That sounds like a test, Marcus whispered. Lyra nodded. Marcus circled the tower. The base of the machine had small glass panels showing scrolling symbols. None of them made sense to him, but one flashing red symbol repeated over and over. "What does this one mean?" he asked. Lyra looked at it and her expression darkened. "It means activation incomplete." Marcus's breath caught. "Incomplete? You mean this thing is supposed to do more?" "Yes," she said quietly, "and I fear it is waiting for enough data." Marcus stepped back. "We have to shut it down." Lyra placed her hand on the machine. "I agree, but it is connected to your outpost now. If we cut this too fast, the sudden energy shift might damage your entire colony." "We don't have a choice," Marcus said. "We can't let some abandoned alien device experiment on our people." Lyra hesitated. "Then we must do it slowly, carefully." Marcus grabbed his tools and approached the lowest cable. But before he could touch it, the chamber lights flickered. A deep hum filled the room. The machine's branches lit up. The tower glowed brighter. "It knows we are here," Lyra whispered. Marcus's heartbeat jumped. "How does it know anything?" "It responds to movement, heat, and energy signatures," she said. "It is reacting to us." Marcus looked up. The glowing branches shifted, pointing in their direction like mechanical eyes turning toward them. A pulse of light shot through the cables. The ground trembled. "The machine is increasing its power," Lyra said. "It wants to protect itself." Marcus took a step back, gripping his tool tightly. "Lyra, what do we do?" She closed her eyes for a moment. "We need to calm it. Show it we are not a threat." "And how do we do that?" Marcus asked, his voice tense. "By reducing our own energy signatures." Marcus blinked. "Meaning?" She turned around. "Turn off your light." He hesitated, then switched it off. Darkness filled the chamber, except for the soft glow from the machine. Lyra dimmed the small device on her wrist. The machine's pulsing slowed. "It is watching us less now," she said. "Step slowly. No quick movements." Marcus followed her instructions as they approached the machine again. Lyra touched one of the cables with gentle pressure, almost like she was petting a frightened animal. "It communicates through patterns," she whispered. "It does not understand fear or threats. It understands signals." Marcus crouched beside her. "Can you talk to it?" "I can try," she said. Her hands moved carefully over the cable. The glowing lines shifted, changing rhythm. Lyra hummed softly, matching her tone with the machine's energy waves. Marcus watched, amazed. She wasn't controlling it, she was guiding it. The tower's glow softened. "It is stable now," Lyra said quietly. "We can begin shutting it down one part at a time." "Tell me what to do," Marcus said. Lyra guided him to a secondary cable. "Cut this one first. Slowly. This will lower its intake." Marcus sliced the cable with careful movements. The chamber dimmed. The machine didn't react aggressively. "Good," Lyra said. "Now the next one." They worked together, step by step, cable by cable. Each cut weakened the machine's power, until finally, only a faint glow remained. Lyra placed both hands on the base. "This is the last connection," she said. "Once we disable this, the machine will stop completely." Marcus nodded. "Let's finish it." They touched the final switch at the same moment. The tower lights flickered once, then faded into darkness. The chamber fell silent. Marcus let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "We did it." Lyra nodded but didn't look relieved. "This was only one machine," she said quietly. "And machines like this are not built without purpose." Marcus stared at her. "You think there are more?" "I fear," she whispered, "that someone planned this long before humans came to this planet, and now they know we found it." A cold wind blew through the chamber, though there should not have been any wind at all. Marcus suddenly felt they were not alone. Marcus and Lyra stood in the silent chamber, surrounded by the dark shell of the machine they had just shut down. Even after the lights faded, Marcus felt a strange pressure in the air, like the room still remembered the machine's power. Lyra's eyes stayed fixed on the shadowed ceiling, as if she expected something to move. "We should go," Marcus whispered. "Yes," Lyra said. "The machine may be off, but its signal may have reached others." Marcus didn't like that sentence at all. "Others? You mean other machines? Or other beings?" she said softly. Marcus felt a cold shiver climb up his spine. He packed his tools quickly and nodded. They climbed back through the tunnel, the walls glowing faintly as if aware of their presence. When they stepped out into the daylight again, Marcus felt relief flood into him. The sun, the wind, the sand, they all felt safer than the silent metal chamber beneath the cliffs. But the relief didn't last. As they walked back toward the outpost, Lyra kept turning her head, watching the horizon. Her calm face was tighter than before. "What is it?" Marcus asked. "The energy around this area has shifted," she said. "Something changed when we shut the machine down." Marcus frowned. "Changed how?" "It feels like attention. Something is paying attention now." He didn't like that answer either. The outpost came into view. But something was immediately wrong. A group of colonists stood outside instead of working. They were gathered in a tight circle, talking loudly and pointing at the sky. Marcus and Lyra rushed forward. "What's going on?" Marcus called out. A man named Harris pointed upward. "Look!" Marcus followed the man's finger and his breath caught. Above the outpost, high in the sky, a large metallic shape moved slowly through the clouds. It wasn't a ship, Marcus recognized. It was long, with thin structures extended like wings, glowing faint blue at the edges. Lyra went still. Her silver eyes widened. "This cannot be," she whispered. "You know what that thing is?" Marcus asked sharply. Lyra hesitated. "I saw drawings of it. Old ones. The cooperative found records of a species that disappeared long ago. Some believed they left messages behind, or machines that could activate if disturbed. We're alive." "And we disturbed one," Marcus muttered. "Yes," she said, her voice barely audible. The metallic shape drifted lower, still silent. No lights, no signals, no sound of engines. It felt like it wasn't flying, it was simply existing in the air, held up by something unseen. Harris took a step back. "Are we in danger?" Marcus wanted to say no, but he couldn't. He looked at Lyra. She shook her head slowly. "But it searches for something." Marcus glanced at her sharply. "It's searching for the machine we shut down." "Yes," Lyra said. "And it knows the energy flow changed from here. It may come to investigate." The colonists started murmuring nervously. Some backed away toward the buildings. Others stared at the sky like they didn't know whether to run or freeze. Marcus stepped in front of them. "Everyone, listen. No sudden movements. Get inside the outpost, stay close to the walls, and stay calm. We don't know if it's hostile." People obeyed not because Marcus had official authority, but because his voice carried certainty. They hurried inside the outpost, leaving Marcus and Lyra standing at the entrance. "We can't let it find the old machine," Marcus said. "It already knows something is wrong," Lyra replied, "but it may not know who caused it." Marcus looked around. The outpost was already damaged from weeks of power failures. If that thing above them decided to attack, they wouldn't last long. "What does this species want?" Marcus asked. "If they left machines behind, what were they doing here?" Lyra shook her head. "No one knows. The cooperative only had pieces of information. Some said the lost species liked to observe. Others said they experimented with energy. Some believed they tested worlds." Marcus looked at her sharply. "Tested?" Lyra met his eyes. "Yes. They studied how colonies reacted to stress, how their systems broke, how they adapted." Marcus felt anger rising inside him. "So, Our colony was part of some old experiment? Maybe, she said quietly. Not anymore, Marcus said. We stopped their machine. The silent ship in the sky began descending. Slowly, gracefully. Its long shape cast a growing shadow over the ground. Marcus pulled Lyra toward the entrance. Inside. Now. They rushed through the doors and sealed them. Marcus ran to the control room while Lyra followed close behind. The screens flickered as the failing power grid struggled to keep up. We can survive this, Marcus said, more to himself than anyone else. We just need a plan. Marcus. Lyra stepped beside him. The ship is scanning. I can feel the pulse. Marcus stared at the radar. A faint, glowing line swept across the screen. The ship was mapping the outpost. Studying it. We need to hide every sign of energy activity, Lyra said. If it sees the grid coming back online or changing suddenly, it might connect it to the loss of their machine. Marcus nodded. So we shut down everything. He hit the emergency command. One by one, the lights faded. The fans slowed. The entire outpost went dark, except for small, battery-powered backup units. The hum in the air softened. Lyra closed her eyes. The ship's pulse slowed. It believes the outpost is weak, maybe empty. Marcus exhaled with relief. Good. Maybe it'll leave. But the ship didn't leave. Instead, something rose from its underside, a small, floating sphere. It drifted through the sky like a glowing eye. Lyra stiffened. A probe. What does it do? Marcus asked, nervously. It verifies, she whispered. It will check for changes. Look for the source of interference. Marcus stared at her. It's going to find the tunnel. Yes, she said, unless we stop it. Marcus rubbed his forehead. We can't shoot it. We don't have weapons strong enough. And if we attack it, the ship will respond. Lyra took a deep breath. We do not attack it. We distract it. We distract it. Marcus looked confused. How? She pointed at the old engineering wing. It reads energy. If we give it a strong but harmless energy burst from a different direction, it may follow the wrong trail. Marcus blinked. We fake the signal. Yes, Lyra said. We guide it away. Marcus stood up. Let's do it. They sprinted to the old wing. Lyra quickly adjusted the old converters, shaping an energy pulse that mimicked the machine's pattern. Marcus worked beside her, sweating, his hands shaking slightly. Ready, Lyra said. Marcus nodded. Send it. She triggered the pulse. A bright wave of energy burst outward, soft, controlled, but strong enough to be detected. On the radar screen, the probe changed direction immediately, gliding toward the false signal. It's working, Marcus whispered. Lyra let out a slow breath. Yes, but we must hope it keeps believing it. As the probe drifted farther away, the ship above the outpost slowly turned, following its own device. It hovered for a long moment. Then, finally, it rose into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. Marcus collapsed into a chair. We did it. We. Lyra sat beside him, her small shoulders relaxing for the first time. Yes, she said softly. But this was only a distraction. They know something changed on this world. Marcus looked at her. Then we prepare. We fix the colony. We warn Earth. And if they come back, his voice grew firm, we'll be ready. Lyra nodded. For the first time since arriving, she looked proud, because humans didn't run. They adapted. They fought. They survived. For the next 24 hours, the outpost felt strangely quiet. Even with the ship gone, and the probe drifting far away, no one relaxed completely. The air carried a silent tension, as if the world itself was waiting to see what happened next. Marcus barely slept. Instead, he worked with the colonists, to bring the systems back online, slowly, carefully, without drawing too much attention. Lyra stayed close to him the entire time, her calm presence steadying his nerves. She moved through the outpost like she understood every wire and signal better than any human engineer. The colonists watched her with a mix of curiosity and respect. At first, they had been unsure about the small alien girl walking among them, but after word spread that she helped save them from an unknown threat, doubt faded. By morning, the outpost power grid was stable. Lights stayed on without flickering. Machines hummed correctly. For the first time in many days, the generators produced steady output. Marcus leaned against a wall, exhausted but relieved. "It's holding," he said. Lyra nodded. "The interference is gone. The machine in the cliff was the only one here. All redmond." "Good," Marcus said. One was more than enough. But she didn't smile. Something still weighed on her mind. "What is it?" Marcus asked. Lyra hesitated. "The ship that arrived. It was only a scout. A watcher. Not a warship." Marcus let out a slow breath. "So, they will come back?" "Yes," she said quietly. "If the scout reports incomplete activation, they may return to finish what the old machines started." Marcus pushed away from the wall. "Then Earth needs to know. And the cooperative. We can't handle this alone." Lyra looked at him with a gentle but serious expression. "You are right. Humans must report this before more danger arrives." Marcus gathered the colonists in the central hall. Everyone stood close together, whispering anxiously. The events of the previous day had shaken them deeply. Marcus raised his voice. "We survived something big," he said. "Something that wasn't supposed to happen. Something older than us. Older than the cooperative. We don't know why these machines exist, but we do know this. They're dangerous, and they're not meant for us." The colonists nodded. "We're going to send a priority message to Earth and to cooperative headquarters," Marcus continued. "We'll tell them everything we learned. And until we hear back, we'll continue repairs, strengthen defenses, and prepare for any return." The colonists murmured in agreement. They trusted Marcus now, more than ever. After the meeting, Marcus and Lyra walked toward the communication tower. The tower was old, but it still worked when the power grid behaved. Marcus typed the message carefully, adding every detail they discovered. The hidden machine, the strange species, the scout ship, the probe, everything. When he finished, he pressed send. A sharp tone rang out. "Message sent," the console said. Marcus exhaled in relief. "Good. Now, we wait." Lyra placed a hand on the console. "I am not sure how long it will take for a reply." "Doesn't matter," Marcus said. "We're not sitting helpless. We'll fix every part of this outpost. If something comes back, it'll find humans ready." Lyra studied him with her silver eyes. "Humans truly change fast. You adapt quickly." Marcus shrugged lightly. "It's what we do." Later, as the sun began to set, Marcus walked outside to check the solar panels. The sky glowed red, the same color it always did on this dusty world. But something felt different now. The colony felt awake, alert. Lyra joined him silently and stood beside him. "You helped us more than anyone has in a long time," Marcus said quietly. "I'm glad you came." Lyra looked down. "I was not supposed to come." Marcus turned in surprise. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then spoke slowly. "The cooperative didn't send me. I saw your call for help, but you were not on the list for official aid. They believed humans could repair the problem themselves. They said your species grows stronger when you struggle." Marcus felt anger spark inside him. "So they ignored us?" "They did not ignore," Lyra said gently. "They waited. But when I sensed the pattern in your message, the desperate tone, the failing signals, I could not stay away. I came on my own." Marcus stared at her. I had to leave quickly, she said softly. The shuttle was old. I was afraid I would be too late. For a long moment, Marcus didn't speak. He looked at the small alien girl who had saved their colony, who had risked her own safety for strangers. You did the right thing, Marcus said finally. No matter what the cooperative expected, what you did here changed everything. Lyra's expression softened. I hoped so. Marcus sat down on a flat rock, staring at the sky. You know, humanity has had to prove itself again and again. Every time we meet a new species, we're told we're too emotional, too stubborn, too unpredictable. Lyra sat beside him. Those qualities make you strong. Marcus smiled. Maybe. But sometimes it feels like we're always being tested. Lyra turned her face toward him. This time, humans were not the ones being tested. I think the old species tested everyone. Even my people. Even the cooperative. Marcus thought about that. It made sense. The machine wasn't targeted at humans. Specifically, it was studying any civilization that settled on this world. So maybe, Marcus said. This time we passed the test. Lyra gave a small, hopeful nod. Yes. You saw danger. You faced it. You did not run. Marcus looked at her with a warm smile. We didn't run because you were here. Lyra blinked, surprised by the kindness in his voice. Then she looked away shyly. Just then, a soft beep came from Marcus's communicator. He checked it quickly, and his eyes widened. Earth responded, he said. Lyra leaned closer. What did they say? Marcus read the short message aloud. Report received. Emergency team deployed. Expect arrival within 2 days. Relief filled the air between them. They're coming, Marcus said. Lyra smiled gently. Then your colony will be safe. Marcus glanced at her. You're staying here, right? You're part of this colony now. Lyra looked at him, her silver eyes reflecting the red sky. If you want me to stay, then, yes, I will stay. Marcus nodded. We'd be lucky to have you. As night settled over the colony, lights flickered back on one by one, steady, bright, hopeful. The darkness no longer felt heavy. It felt like a new beginning. And standing there, side by side, Marcus and Lyra watched the sky together. They had faced something ancient, something unknown, and survived. Not because of power, or weapons, or fear. Whatever came next, humanity would be ready, and Lyra would be ready with them.